Recording. So hopefully that looks a little bit better. I don't know. Let me bring up my chat window. Okay, does that look a little bit better, guys? Sorry about that. Hopefully. I know my face is going all crazy again. But shaping out that shadow. Thinking about the movements in between the shadows of the fingers right now and how they're separated. Rudy, I don't know if you sent me your paint crit. Yep, you sent it. Perfect. Awesome. I got Benjamin's in line here also. I'm going to download yours. So are there any questions about this? This is pretty much the finish. Just again, really, really softening out those shadow shapes. And what I'll do before the end of this is after this dries the next day, I might paint on it a little bit more for fun. But I would liquid this one last time in the areas that I had last painted that had sunken in or looked slightly different than the rest of the painting, just to keep it more uniform. Again, like the paintings that I showed you guys that were of my wife. So I'm loading Benjamin's and Rudy's into the computer. Awesome. Guys, any questions at all? Want to make sure I answer any questions before we're done class? Before I go on to critiques. What if you put too much liquid on top? That is an issue. You want to really work the liquid. You want to make sure that the surface that you're putting liquid onto is dry. And then you want to put just a very, very thin coat. I use a brush that I kind of work the liquid into the surface. And liquid will pull off layers of paint if they are not dry. So you want to be very careful about that. You want to make sure that the surface is completely dry before you put liquid on. Not necessarily a small brush. I use I use pretty thick brushes for that are soft, like mongoose, synthetic mongoose hair brushes. In this one, I used maybe like a size like 10 or 11 or 12, pretty thick, to put on there. Or you can also use a makeup sponge as well. We had talked about that. So here's the finished painting. Now, I would still work on this a little bit, but since this is demo, it kind of hopefully tells you guys the kind of guides you along on the process a little bit. Any questions at all about this? Liquid dries the paint on my palette. I'm using too much. Am I using too much? I wouldn't use it necessarily as a medium. I did a little bit here. I do it unconsciously. I would switch out the liquid for walnut alkyd if you can. It just works a little bit better, and that also helps the paint layers to dry the next day. Awesome. So we're going to go to critiques now. I'm going to flip the computer over to the iPad. Cool. So we have Benjamin's up. Do you want to unmute your microphone? Oh, thanks, Silva. How's it going? Good. Awesome. How are you feeling? Oh, I can imagine. It's probably pretty late there. We won't spend too long, I guess, but I think that The way that you're moving, I think what you're really understanding really well is the sense of directions of the hands and unifying. I think that's great. Um, we want to pull some of our shadows into the lights. So I want you to think about integrating your strokes in areas like this, where these kind of, you can break apart some of these shapes with lights or halftones. I think that'll help some of these areas be a little bit more successful. I think you're getting some glare on here with painting, and I totally get that in the photo reference because I can see the reflection. And so I want you to be, that's fine. I can imagine what it looks like dark. This is a little bit lighter, I can tell. So you listened to me when I said, hey, let's lighten that up a little bit so that we can see what's going on with this shape a little bit better. And I think that's way more successful. I also see how the light is a little bit blowing out areas like this. Can you imagine this is what some people's photo references look like actually on screen, and they don't have any of the information. So getting good photo reference again, we'll be able to see that. So I think that what the successful parts are definitely the movements and the color you're starting to get really good too. I see the greens, the pinks. You know, I think that's super successful, man. Uh, I want you to be careful of areas like in here where we want to kind of bridge these areas across into the light, and it might be there because it's hard to see the reference a little bit. Um, the painting that we have here, I see that you're starting to get some texture, which is good, moving with the forms. Do you have any questions at all for me? Yeah, yeah, I think they look pretty good. I think I would think about glazing over them after it dries. I still want you to paint on this some more. I think that if you, we want to, I would cross form over top of the nails so that they're a little bit more blended. I'm going to do it on the screen now. There's a little bit of delay in my iPad here. So you just want to take out some of that light. And what that does is it kind of unifies them a little bit more so with the reference. And so it's kind of like what I do with the drawing where I use a hatch for the drawing and painting, like some coming across that form just to knock that back. But then kind of with the form of the entire whole, right? So it's with the curvature of the hand that I'm crossing over these forms, even though it's a form that goes vertical for a fingernail, right? But I don't want this edge there. I want it to be blended in. I want this to be one form next to another form. Let me see if I can show that kind of better here with a better color. So like one form next to another form, but not outlined. Okay? So we want to get rid of these outlines, we want to get rid of. And so I would cross contour over them, kind of like I was just showing you, kind of glaze over those. I think that would be super helpful. Same here. Maybe push these darks just a little bit in here, integrating them. I think if you just had more time, you would get this, and you are. You're getting it. You know, I think you understand the concepts pretty well. I want you to be careful of hard edges like this. This could be a lot softer in there to kind of have this part kind of fade into that dark. So just kind of show you kind of what I'm thinking here. Like cross contour over this edge so that we kind of lose that hard edge right there. I think that'll help give us more like dimension when it comes into the shadows, more curvature. It looks good. This looks good. This looks really good. I think I would make this probably a little darker in here on this side. Kind of glaze that back. Let me see. I could just kind of do it with a bigger. Well, I'll use black, and then I will just kind of come in with something larger, lightly. Only because I don't think it's that important, right? So I think we can kind of glaze that back. Same as in here a little bit, you know? Because That versus what we had. I think it's a little too bright. I'd knock it back a few steps because that way that'll give the hands a little bit more dimension to them. Again, everything I do within a painting is really kind of uh, be subservient to the whole of the hand and the most important part of the hand. So I'm always asking myself, well, what is the most important part of this painting? There's a hierarchy of things that are important. Yes, we want to show that there's a wrist, in here. We want to show that this is here. I'm still stuck on that large one. Um, but I don't think this is as important as having this be really glowy, and coming forward and having that 3 dimensions. Good work, man. Do you have any other questions at all? You gonna go to bed now? Oh, thanks, man. It's been great to reconnect. Definitely. I think that yeah, I'll hit you up later with that other thing we talked about. Awesome. Yeah, good work. Awesome. Hey, get some sleep or hang around while I bother Rudy. Next into the tank, we have Rudy. Look how fast that is. Rudy, so how's it going? I like that you've gotten everything kind of filled in, which looks good. I think we're losing some of our shadow shapes. Some areas are becoming kind of uniform. In here, do you see how if we squint, this value in here and this value in here are very similar? I mean, there's some shadows, but we want to really build out. Let me make sure I'm on another layer really quick. Oops. How do you feel about it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think that's exactly what I'm thinking too. I think I want you to, when you start to come in there, I want you to think about knocking in a little bit more values. Again, like we showed with that little anatomy thing, right? Where we're kind of folding, where the hand folds to get these values back in, and I think you're going to see them much better once it's dry. And I totally understand that this is kind of a rush, um, but you see, like there's more shadow here. Just it gives it more dimension, just a little bit. That would be my main concern. Would be just that you're losing your shadow shapes. This shadow comes up and then down a little bit. That, and I want you to play around a little bit more with the color also. I think you're staying away from cool colors like blues and some of the stronger pinks. I want you to think about that as well as it's very mid-tone right now, so we want to kind of also bring up our lights. So I'm going to bring them up kind of in a yellow kind of realm here. That looks pretty good. So like think about how areas are moving from here down. That's a little bit, well, that'd be all right. You can do it lighter. Like tell me about this area. Too light or too dark? Too light. Yeah. And so we want to kind of think about in terms of that too, and maybe even just kind of glazing over areas to unify them. I want you to work on this some more and show it to me when you're done. You're also tired. All nighters. Yeah, that's cool. We're here. Awesome. Yeah. So I also want you to think about one other thing really quick. Is I want you to kind of unify our darks a little bit, like through here. Um, it's a little too much. Like this is this, this is this, and this is this. Right. We want to kind of think about it in terms of unifying that area, kind of with like glazing it back, kind of like what we talked about with Benjamin. Where just because it unifies it. Now I'm stuck with it. I want to do a thicker pen. It'll just knock it back so that the hand becomes the star. You know what I mean? Kind of like I like what you did with this value in here, keeping that kind of darker, and you set it up so that you can do the lines that go horizontal. eventually, which is good. So that's good that you're kind of setting yourself up for that. I think that's going to be nice. But having this kind of, I'll show you just really quick. So we'll put the layer on and off. So see now how we have more dimension? Hopefully the screen looks good. Okay, so I'm turning the layer on and off. So now it's on, it's got dimension, and we turn it off. It goes flat a little bit. So we want to kind of build up. It's so weird. On my screen, it's like way behind now. There you go. What are you doing? Oh, like, is he weightlifting? Or is that your maul stick? Right on. So definitely get the sense of value in there. That would be the next step. Okay, man? We're done. Awesome. Everything's I can barely hear you because you're breaking up. Jeez. So I guess we must be done. Your internet's saying, hey, you guys have been worked. Lead. Awesome, guys. I want to thank everybody participating in the workshop. I want to thank Blake and Rember, who are our guinea pigs. You guys did great. I totally understand. Blake, unfortunately, had to on some stuff, and I know other people who were watching also were working, and you guys did awesome. You know, this is really hard stuff, and it's impressive. If you guys want to turn all your cameras on, everybody who's out there, who's a view only, so we can all see everyone's face and camera on, even though I'm kind of distorted. Now we'll really break the internet. Right now, there's Alex. I see Iris. Awesome. And Brenda. Hey, Brenda. Very, very cool. Hava. It's a beautiful name. Cheryl's not presentable, I guess. Is that what she's? Oh, thanks, guys. I try hard. I mean, I have fun teaching, as Rudy can probably attest to. I think both me and Shayna, he's taken all of our workshops, or most of them. Also, I'm going to turn off my iPad. So, guys, I'll see you guys hopefully in the future at another workshop or something. Hopefully at the Portrait Society demo, if you guys can make it to that, or the photo class, or another class down the line. Or I'll see you guys on Instagram and stuff. Awesome. What would be really kind of cool if you take photos of your working space watching the demo, that'd be awesome because I can repost that. That'd be really sweet on Instagram. And oh, the wife is here. So I'm going to run and see what they're doing in our crazy backyard. So thanks again, guys. I'm going to post up the recordings and hopefully get those links out to you guys tomorrow. I know my screen's just it's turning into a Kanefsky painting. Alex Kanefsky. A great artist. Look up Alex Kanefsky. He's an abstract representational artist. He's awesome. Fractured reality or distorted reality, he calls it. Anyway, awesome, guys. Hey, take care. I'm going to end everything and end the meeting. It's funny, as soon as I end the meeting, it clears up. Finished the recording. The recording actually worked this time. Because I took the thing off of this. I know. You're so smart.